Good morning. This is Pamela Bluewater with J&S Biblical Productions. We are here to watch and discuss why Moses, after talking with God at the burning bush on Mount Horeb, didn't want to take on the job of going to Pharaoh and asking him to free the Israeli slaves. Let's watch this conversation, and then we will discuss it with our biblical historians. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought,
I will go over and see this strange sight. Why does the bush not burn up?
When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush.
Moses! Moses!
Here I am.
Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals. For the place where you are standing is holy ground. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God.
I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers. And I am concerned about their suffering. So, I've come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of the land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt.
Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?
I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain.
Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them?
I am who I am. This is what you say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has sent me to you, the name by which I am to be remembered from generation to generation.
What if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, the Lord did not appear to you?
What is that in your hand? Throw it on the ground. Reach out your hand and pick it by the tail. This is so they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, has appeared to you. But if they do not believe or listen to you, take some water from the Nile and pour it on the ground. The water you take from the river will become blood on the ground.
O Lord, I have never been eloquent, neither in the past or since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue.
Who gave man his mouth? Who makes him deaf or mute? Who gives him sight or makes him blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will help you speak and will teach you what to say.
Oh Lord, please send someone else to do it.
What about your brother, Aaron the Levite? I know he can speak well. I will help both of you to speak and will teach you what to do. He will speak to the people for you, and it will be as if he were your mouth, and as if you were God to him. But take this staff in your hand so that you can perform miraculous signs with it.
Then Moses went back to Jethro, his father-in-law, And he said to him,
Let me go back to my people in Egypt to see if any of them are still alive.
Jethro said,
Go, and I wish you well.
This is Pamela Bluewater again with Mary Beth Violet from the Church of the Open Window in the studio. We are here to talk about what was happening here. Moses is obviously saying he doesn't want the assignment to free the slaves, and he gives plenty of reasons why.
Yes, Moses is focused on himself, his fears, his lack of courage. He also doesn't have faith in God, his promises, and is also disrespectful to God. What the viewers should see is that Moses should be directing his attention to whom he's serving and the power of God to be with him at all times to accomplish his mission of freeing the slaves.
But if he lacks the courage to act, why not get someone else?
Because God isn't looking for someone else. He knows the Egyptians. He's lived with them his entire life. He's all out of excuses. He pleads with God to find someone else, chapter 4, verse 13. But as it turns out, Moses' fears and objections are groundless. He was a good communicator, and there's no evidence of him being slow of speech or tongue.
But Moses was afraid nobody would believe his story that God sent him to free the Israelite slaves.
Look, you have to get the idea that he had to convince the elders of Israel and the Pharaoh that God sent him based on a conversation he had with a bush, a burning bush. People don't stand around having conversations with burning bushes.
So what can we conclude from this conversation with God?
Well, most of us are like Moses, minding our own business every day, and we look at large tasks as our weakness and past failures. So when we receive a godlike command to do a task, we don't see it through God's eyes, that this is him speaking to us from a burning bush and asking us to join him in a large and important job. We should listen for him calling to us. He cares for us as he did for Moses. Then when he calls, we don't say to him, to the answer like Exodus chapter 4, verse 13, "Oh Lord, please send someone else to do it."
All right. Therefore, Moses' fears were unreasonable. This is Pamela Bluewater for J&S Biblical saying, when God calls on us, we should believe and have total faith in him and trust yourself that you are capable. Good morning.
What are your thoughts on today's story? We'd like to know. So, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel, J&S Authentic Biblical Productions. Whether it's the Word of God through parables, true stories illustrating parables, or true stories in the life of Jesus Christ with commentary, you can see them all by subscribing to the most comprehensive collection of videos of biblical stories for you and your family. Have a blessed day.